Hello and welcome. Welcome to my YouTube channel PHARMAVEN. In today's video, I will be discussing about a most important topic which is nowadays discussed to a lot of extent. FDA is very keen to it, all the regulators are very keen to it and looking for it. And that topic is data integrity. So data integrity in pharmaceutical industry is now a well critically acclaimed, accepted subject of discussion. All are discussing what is data integrity. So let's understand step by step what is data and what is data integrity. So to begin with, I'll tell a famous quote by W. Edwards Deming that without data, you are just another person with an opinion. So if I am talking something, I am a very scholar student. So it doesn't make sense. But if I show my mark sheet that I'm getting every time I'm getting 95% and more, then it proves that yes, I am a scholar student. So that is the purpose, that is the way of representation, that when you are telling something you should be supported by some data. Your data should speak and your data should be reliable. So let's understand step by step what is data integrity. So data integrity, it refers to the reliability and trustworthiness of the data throughout its life cycle. So first it should be reliable and it should be trustworthy. It can describe the state of your data, such as data is valid or data is invalid, or the process of ensuring and presenting the validity and accuracy of data. So this is important. Data life cycle. What is data life cycle? So data life cycle refers to how data is generated, processed, reported, checked, used for decision making and sorted and finally discarded at the end of the retention period. So how the data is generated, how the data is processed, how it is reported, how it is checked, how we are making decision based on the data, whether the data is correct, whether it's meeting the criteria, not meeting the criteria, batch is meeting the criteria, result is passing or failing, and ultimately discarded at the end of retention period. So retention period means a data will have a lifespan. For example, if the batch record is there, so once the batch is expired, expiry date is there, so you will retain the batch record for 1 year or 2 years. After that you will destroy that batch record. So there is a lifespan for the data. On the other hand, data integrity as a process describes the measure used to ensure that validity and accuracy of the data set for all data contained in a database or the other construct. For instance, error checking or validation method may be referred to as a data integrity processes. So let's understand first what is data. When we are talking about the data integrity, we must understand first that what is data. There are three types of data. Paper record. Paper record means recording on the paper. A paper-based record of manual observation or an activity. Examples such as manual entry of date and time of starting or stopping of the activity. So if you are starting a material addition, you will write manual into the batch record that this time this date, and once you stop the material addition you will write this time and this time I stop the material addition, studying start time, studying stop time. Then values such as weight of material to the added to the batch, so I'll be writing I had added 1.35 kg of API into the batch, so it will be a manual data. Reading of air velocity taken during LF qualification, so where we are when we are qualifying our laminar air flow, when we are writing the readings from the velocity meter on a paper, so it's a manual record. When we are recording temperature and RH of area by looking at the display and it's not electronic, then it's a paper record. Now then, what is electronic record? So this is information generated electronic using equipment then raised from the simple machines to complex highly configured systems. So what are the electronic records? Chromatograms, auto generated cycle of autoclave, freeze dryer, filling machine, or tablet compression machine, or any other machine which have automatic printouts generated. And nowadays there are electronic batch records, so you don't have to write anything, you have to just enter the value into the system and it captures electronically. So this is electronic batch record. So these all are electronic record. There is one more called hybrid, where both paper and electronics information constitute the original record. So example, HPLC assay with sample preparation on paper and HPLC run in electronic form. So Your sample preparation information will be on paper and your chromatogram will be electronic. So this is how it makes hybrid data. Now, what is raw data? So raw data is the source data or original record data which can be described as the first capture of the information, whether the recorded on paper or electronically. Raw data permits full reconstruction of the activity. So whenever we are writing the data, the first original set of data we call it as a raw data. If you transcribe to some other format, it's not a raw data, it's the transcription data, but your original data is your raw data. Then static data or static record. So what is static record? So their format one that is fixed and allows no interaction between user and the record content. So for example, if I am writing something on a paper or there is a photograph or electronic image, it cannot be changed. It remains static. I cannot further modify it. It's static then and there. It's stable. Hence, once the record are created, the output cannot be changed. So this is we call paper record or static record. Then another is dynamic data or dynamic record. So what is dynamic data or dynamic record? It allows interaction between user and the record content. For example, if a chromatogram is there, then it allows the user to change the baseline and reprocess the chromatographic data to that resulting peak may appear smaller or larger. So this chromatographic data allows you to modify something even after this chromatogram is generated. It's not static, it's dynamic. You can still change it. Other example, if we have Excel sheet and spreadsheets where the formula, if I can modify, if it is not locked, it is not password protected and locked, then I can modify that formula, then it becomes a dynamic data. So once we are clear with what is data, what is raw data, what is static record, what is dynamic record, let's move forward to understand what is metadata. So metadata is described as data about data. Metadata are there describe the attributes of the data such as structure, data elements and interrelationships such as audit trails. So metadata provide content and meaning to the data. Without the context provided by the data, data has no meaning. Metadata forms an integral part of original record. So let's understand. If I write 50, 50, it means nothing. It's just a number. But if I write 50 ml, 50 gram, 50%, then it is a meaningful data. So 50 ml can be the volume, 50 gram can be the weight, 50% can be the percentage or any other percent about the trends or something like or SA value or some percentage out of some compiled data. So this is how metadata gives a meaning to the original data. Audit trail is also a form of a metadata that provides secure recording of life cycle details such as when the data was created, when addition, any deletions or any alteration of the information in GXP record. See, if I have an electronic system and if I have an audit trail, so everything which I do, right from the starting of the login of the operator to supervisor, from the entering of the data, selection of the recipe, everything will be recorded into the audit trail. So audit trail is also metadata. Now, once we understood the what is data, then let's understand what is data integrity. So as per GXP data integrity guidance and definitions by MHRA in March 2018, defines data integrity as the degree to which data are complete, consistent, accurate, trustworthy and reliable, and that these characteristics of the data are maintained throughout the data life cycle. So let's understand again the degree to which data are complete, consistent, accurate, trustworthy, so we can trust it, and reliable, so we can rely to make some decisions. And that this characteristic of the data are maintained throughout the data life cycle, so it will not change during the life cycle. The data should be collected and maintained in a secure manner so that they are attributable, legible, contemporaneously recorded and original or a true copy and accurate. So let's look at this table. It mentions outline of Alcoa Plus. So what is Alcoa? Alcoa forms the very basic requirement of the data integrity. So what is A? Attributable. The attributable is who performed the action or acquired the data and when. So it is linked to the person who has performed the activity or acquired the data. So if I have to say that who manufactured this batch, then there will be a signature, and that signature is linked to the one person. So I can correlate batch manufacturing with a person who has done it. Then second is legibility or legible data. So data can be easily readable and they are not indelible. So they cannot be removed, they cannot be changed. So data should be legible. I can read accurately exactly what is data. It should not be like that. It can be read it as a 3 also, it can be read it as a 8 also. It should be very very accurate. Then contemporaneous means real time data. So when I do the activity, I have to write it down then and there. So if I am doing some activity at 11 p.m., then I have to write 11 p.m. 11:00 as a time that I did activity at 11 p.m. It can be pH setting, it can be material addition, it can be cycle start time. It should be real time online. I have to record. Then it should be original. So we don't have to change the data. We have to maintain the original record as it is. Otherwise, it's not a original data. So it should be original and accurate. Accurate means I have to write the exact information which I have seen. I should not change anything to make it passing. I should not change it such that it is meeting my requirement. It should be accurate. So Alcoa means attributable, who did it, legible, clearly readable, contemporaneous means online, original means original records, and accurate. So there is accurate information should be there. When we say Alcoa Plus, so what is Alcoa Plus? So it includes complete. So all data included are should be all inclusive. If any change is done, its changes should be mentioned. All the testing, reanalysis, processing, reprocessing, everything we have to write it down. We don't have to exclude any information. For example, if I manufactured 3 batch for the process validation and one of the batch is failing and I repeated one batch, so I have to include all the 4 batches data. I cannot exclude the data of the failing batch. I have to include all 4 batches data, 3 passing result and 1 failing batch data. Then it should be consistent. Data should be generated consistently. It should not happen one time report is generated, one time report is not generated. Then it should be enduring. So all data recorded in such a manner that it will be last for the required duration. See, if it is a paper record, the paper should be of proper quality. If I am writing, it should be properly preserved. If the data is electronic, it should be properly preserved. It should not happen that before the batch is expired, your batch record is destroyed or batch record is lost, or it is not remain in a readable format. And finally, it is available. Available means whatever data are generated should be retained from a majority or especially by the quality control unit. So data should be retained by the quality control unit in documentation cells. So whenever the data is required, it can be produced. It can be asked by the auditor, it can be asked by the internal auditor, it can be required for the investigation. So by all means, data should be available whenever they are needed. So this is how Alcoa and Alcoa Plus works. This is forms the basis of the data integrity. If we are not meeting this requirement, then it means we are not working in a integral culture. We are not integral in with respect to our data. Further, to understand, data relating to a product or process may cross various boundaries within the life cycle. So once it is created, this may include data transfer between paper-based and computerized system or between different organizational boundaries such as both internal production QC QA. So QC result will be given to the production so they can use it to write and make a decision for it will be then goes to, so both production and QC data goes to QA. QA verifies both data to make a decision whether batch is passing or failing. So data from production comes to QA, from QC to comes to QA. So this data transfer will be there within the organization as well as external. So if we are manufacturing on a contract basis, if we are making our products, or we have given the loan license to other company to make products on for us on behalf of us. So that data transfer from the contractor to us or us from us to contractor will be there. So there will be lot of data transfer. Further, this data governance, Senior management is responsible for the implementation of the system and procedures to minimize the potential risk to data integrity and for identifying the residual risk using the principle of ICH Q9. So to maintain the entire system as a data integrity or maintain the integral system within the company, so all the data is accurate, reliable, trustworthy, and good for decision making. It's a responsibility of the senior management to provide resources, create awareness, create a culture of data integrity, maintaining the integrity within the system, personal integrity, professional integrity. It comes as a responsibility of the senior management to maintain the data integrity and ensure that it is sustained. Now let's understand some data integrity breach examples. When I say what is data integrity, then I should explain what is the data integrity breach, what we call data integrity breach. The first is recording the passing result when the actual result is failing. So if my product is not meeting the requirement required assay value, and if I write incorrect assay value, if I change it to make it correct, then it's a recording the passing result when the actual result is failing. And what are the reasons for this? The fear of personal failure. So, for example, if I did something wrong and I don't want to be highlighted, I don't want to be considered as a failure, I want to hide my mistake, then I will go for the data integrity. I will write the correct result instead of incorrect result and make the failing batch passing. It's data integrity. Then not trusting the testing. Sometimes if I did some testing and result is failing, and this product is always getting passing result, if the history is such that the such specific product does not have any failure in previous history, and when you are testing for the first time, for example, and you are getting failing result, then you will trust the testing itself. You will not doubt the product quality, you will doubt the quality of the testing or quality of your own work, and you will make a passing result. Then it's again data integrity issue. Then you don't want to repeat the test. Sometimes because of time crunch, I don't want to repeat the activity, so I'll make it as a passing result. Then pressure of the releasing the product. So I have a lot of pressure that this batch has to be released by within specific time, as it is highly demanded into the market. So with that pressure, I can someone can release the failing batch. So this is how data integrity issues occurs. Then another form is recording the data before or after actual time. So it is called pre-dating or pre-timing or post-dating or post-timing. So even before the doing the activity, if I write it, it's a data integrity issue. And if I have done the activity now, but I am recording the result tomorrow or maybe 2 hours after, then it's a data integrity issue. And what are the reasons for this? Sometimes because of shift change, is there is a shift change, so I want to go early, so I'll make the reading. So for example, my shift change is at 3 p.m. and I have to rewrite the record also at the 3 p.m. So in order to save the time, at 2:45 p.m. I will write the reading and I'll leave and I'll make it as a I have written it on the 3 p.m. So it's a data integrity issue. Again, then the considering that there will not be any change into the reading. So sometimes some equipment have a consistent reading, consistent temperature data or consistent pressure data. So instead of going to the equipment and writing, we just make it same entry for the entire shift because we know that it is not going to change. And sometimes multitasking can be the reason for the pre-dating and post-dating. So for example, I have to write the reading of 10 equipment at the same time. So instead of going to the equipment, I'll write the readings, or I'll write the wrong time, pre-time or post-time. Then backdating, signing document in old date. So if I have done the activity maybe 3 days back, okay, and I am writing that I have done today, or example, or if I have done today and I am writing as I have done 3 days back, then it's a changing the date or changing the or backdating or pre-dating. For example, I am writing the reading for the tomorrow's date, then it is also wrong. Then replacing the records, person not available, sometimes person is not available, so we will be signing on behalf of that person, or that person comes on the next day, he will sign the document in the older date. So this is also called the backdating. Sometimes a person needs to document online, so he will write or she will write on a later date, and makes entry into the old date, so it will look like it was made into the older date. So this is again a data integrity issue. Now, recording the readings without visiting the equipment. So sometimes because of multitasking, sometimes because of lethargy, we write the reading without going to the equipment. Sometimes going to the classified area requires for you to gown and you don't want to gown. So you will straight away write the reading without going into the classified area. And sometimes we trust that the equipment will be working fine. So I'll write the reading without going to the equipment. And fifth form is signing for someone else. So this is again data integrity issue. If I have not done the activity, I should not sign. If somebody else did the activity, I should not sign on behalf of him unless there is a predefined procedure. For example, aseptic intervention where there is a scriber, but it is a part of procedure. Apart from such cases, you should not sign for the somebody else and you cannot make a duplicate signature for anybody else. It is called a data integrity breach. Now, overall scenario, what are the reasons? Increasing DI regulations, internal policies, training, weak leadership, large or complex data or metadata states, human error, outdated laboratory informatics and tools, absence of data governance within the company, poor test method, outdated instrument, outsourced testing. Sometimes testing is outsourced to get the passing result. Vague control in chromatography, expanding data reviews or multiple data reviews, resource issues and changing the skill set. Then there is a performance matrix, so you must not fail. So this leads to the stress. It creates the opportunity for the data integrity issues, and people start rationalizing that why they did wrong because of some reason. So these are the examples or these are the reasons because of which data integrity issue can come. Now, how to solve for this? So we understand data, we understand metadata, we understand data integrity. So how we can solve for it? So there are, first is we have to provide data integrity guidance and regulations within the company. We have to ensure data reliability. We have to ensure data quality. We have to provide training to safeguard the technical controls. There should be electronic controls wherever possible. Manual entries to be avoided. Wherever possible, it should be converted into a digital form. Whenever possible, a cross-checking has to be introduced. And we have to drive above all. We have to drive the culture for the excellence. So it is can be done to the strong leaders with supportive quality and speak up culture. So we have to encourage employees if they are facing some problem in recording the data online or giving the correct results. We have to develop a culture of speak up so the person can come up and say that boss, this is a person, I have a problem here. If I have to make the accurate readings, it is these are difficulties, or this machine has a issues, or this test method has a issue. You have to encourage persons say don't continue with the problematic system. Stop and ask. Then again, improve test instrument, robust test method and SOPs, robust data governance, whenever possible, digital laboratory, then cyber security, blockchain, so it's properly secured. Then smart laboratories and error proofing data life cycle. These steps can help us to achieve a system where there are no data integrity breaches and people will be happily working within the company. So hope this my small effort to make you understand about data integrity, how data integrity breaches occur, what are the examples, and how we can resolve data integrity issue. Hope this will help you to make a better system within your company. Thank you very much for watching my full video, and thank you for being with me. Thanks a lot.